Right. Good. It's a podcast.
Are you positive? Are you in the happy corner?
I'm in the happy zone. I got to go deliver a cake in a little bit, so let's do this quickly.
Hey, we all have big, tasks in life.
Yeah, we do.
All right. I have a big cake. I mean, real things, like a real.
There's an Alcoholics Anonymous retreat, and I got to go deliver an apple cake, which probably most people do on a Friday.
I mean, if you're not doing that on a Friday, I mean, what are you doing?
That's right.
Yeah.
I say that often. They're all coming to get me. I swear to God. This whole society is against me. You know that?
I didn't know.
Well, I'm telling you now. It's not good. I've given up, you know.
Why are they against you again?
I don't know. But it's caused me to give up. So who's laughing now?
I don't know. Who is? I mean, who should be laughing?
You know what?
I guess it's the people who are like, okay, he gave up. Now we're laughing.
You would think so. But because I gave up, I got nothing to lose, so I'm the one laughing.
Right.
Okay, we're both laughing, but I'm justified in my laugh. Or put it this way, we're both laughing, but they're laughing for the wrong reasons, and I'm justified and I'm winning.
That is true. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Truth Train here on the your preferred podcast platform.
That's right.
You can also view this podcast on YouTube. You can also find it in a garbage can, probably. In a digital garbage can. You can find us. You can also follow Badass Dex on Instagram. And moi, Anders Macaulay, on the Instagram as well.
And another thing that's worth noting is that people think that you have to look for the Truth Train, but it is in fact the Truth Train that is looking for you.
Yes. Yeah. Even though it's bound to be on tracks, right?
It's still looking for you.
It can't really go off tracks.
No, but it doesn't know that.
But it doesn't know that, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, but isn't the whole deal with the Truth Train, you have to like step on the Truth Train? How, like, isn't the train just going and people got to get on it to see the truth?
Yeah. But it's like the Truth Train is always picking up speed. So it's that train leaves every 5 minutes, like you would say.
Right.
So if you're waiting for the Truth Train and it doesn't show up, I got some harsh news for you. You're already on it.
Oh my God.
That's right.
What a revelation.
It is. But another thing is like, you know, it's always like the truth is quick. You got to be quicker. And then by boarding the right transportation device.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, I know some people who are trying to skateboard themselves towards the truth.
Good luck.
That's not going to work.
No.
It's not going to work.
I heard of a guy who drove a Volvo toward the truth.
Really?
Yeah, we all know how that went.
Yeah. I've heard that story a million times. Yeah.
If I had $1 for every time I heard that story.
Yeah. I would have. Okay, so let's dive into it, shall we?
Yeah.
There is a problem here in the universe.
Only one.
A friend asked me, "What is this podcast about?" And I said, "It's a truth-seeking mission."
That's right. It is.
Yeah, we're just giving people the life advice.
Yeah.
Right? And how you should, act, be, feel.
I think a good lesson for life is if you're looking for people to trust, always trust the people that claim to know the truth.
Yes.
Because they know. And that's us.
But wouldn't you rather be with people who think they know than people who say they don't know?
See, the people who say they don't know and the people who say they know are both wrong. So you might as well hang out with the people with confidence.
That's my point.
So you can relax.
It's my point. Like, if a ship is going down, I want to be with the people who are like, no, this is fine.
That's right. That's right.
Rather than the people who are screaming and like trying to swim away from the problem.
That's right.
I'm going down with the ship.
Yeah, I want to be around the people who say, don't worry.
Yes.
Don't worry.
Like, but there's a lot of water here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, we're on the ocean.
Hey, I do this every day, all right?
Yeah,
Just trust me.
But should I be eating my dinner like in like water up to my waist?
Yes, you should.
Yes.
Calm down.
It's called a cruise.
Yeah, that's right. I love that.
Okay, so here's the problem. A lot of people walk around with a lot of smugness.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and just to state the record here, we are against violence.
That's right.
In this podcast,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Ever since episode 3.
Yes, we stopped
being pro-violence.
Now, now we're against.
Mm-hmm, that's right. That's right. After episode 2.
Yeah. We're against violence, just like putting it out there.
Yeah, that's right.
For the YouTube algorithm and whatever the platform is. Mm-hmm. We are against violence.
We don't condone it.
We do not condone it. We do not like it. We are not inviting it in to our house. Mm-hmm. We're not giving it a cup of coffee. And it's not sleeping over.
Yeah.
Right?
No one should feel like they are a moving target for blind violence.
Exactly.
That's what we feel.
We feel it all the time. When we wake up.
That's the first thing I think.
That's the first before even my coffee.
That's right.
Yeah. Like that's my number one issue.
That's right. That's my cause.
Yes. Mm-hmm. But there is a lot of smugness out there. And I think I heard a really wise guy tell me that a problem people have is that they haven't had enough resistance in life.
That's right.
And you said that you have some thoughts around this.
Yes, I do.
Could you please elaborate the diamond theory?
I'm so glad you asked. So something that really, really annoys me is on a sunny day, because now it's spring, right? So it's a sunny day, you walk out of the house and you see people walking down the street and they're laughing. Like not a care in the world. And I look at these people and I just think, how fucking stupid do you have to be happy?
Right.
Now, let me just, because I've thought this through. Okay, I've done a lot of meditation around this. When I came out of rehab, I got death threats from like 12 people. And I had to live at a secret address for 3 years. And I would never been able to work again. I would never been able to, go out of the house again. I didn't leave the house for like 3 years because there were people actively trying to kill me. Hardcore, very dangerous people. The police even said, we can't help you. Now that made me very humble. And the problem, as I see it, is most people walk around with a smugness that only the lack of death threats can generate.
Right.
And it's just like, you know what? I met a guy the other day, and he was, and his attitude, like he was about my age, and his attitude was so arrogant. I said, hey, how about we do this? He's like, we're never going to do that, and you're going to fail. And I just, the impulse to knock him unconscious it was so extraordinary. But obviously I'm a sane human being, so there's a gap between my there's a gap between my feeling of wanting to exude the violence and doing something, and then I calm down. But this person, the only way to describe this person is this is a person who has never been punched in the face.
Metaphorically, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube.
Yes.
That metaphorical punch in the face.
Yeah.
Like a tax return.
Exactly. That's a real punch in the gut.
That's right.
That tax return.
That's right. So anyway, then the question is like, to what extent can people be good if they haven't had a lot of pain? You see these people on the internet and they'll just, write terrible things to other people, right?
All right.
And it's the lack of, they're not afraid, right? Mm-hmm. Not being afraid makes you terrible. So good people are always afraid of the most dangerous animal out there, man.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, again, very few people can hit the nail on the head like you do.
Thank you.
Driving that all the way home.
Thank you.
I think you're onto something, and I think you're not even on something. Like you're beyond onto something.
Right.
Like you're actually writing a law right now.
I'm in it.
You're in it.
I'm not even on it.
You're not. Yes, you're baked into it. You know?
Yeah, I am
your arms are sticking out of the pastry dough.
I am the pastry filling of this situation.
Yeah, yeah. I think people because okay, everybody wants to be royalty.
Of course.
Everybody wants to sleep in velvet. Have people work for them. Have butlers. Money. Fame.
Yachts.
A driver. A pilot. Like everything's just accessible. Everybody wants that. Like that's a dream scenario.
Yeah.
Being in a situation where you have access, right?
Yeah.
And if you are a person who are raised under those circumstances, there's a big problem that is developing in the shadows.
That's right.
Which is smugness. Because you now are becoming, or you already became, an entitled person. Like, I'm entitled to stuff.
That's right.
Like I am like so what you are perfectly describing is that being hit in the face metaphorically is a way of hardening. It's like new shoes on your feet.
It makes you humble.
It makes you humble. Those blisters makes you humble.
You really start to respect just how insane people are. I remember 2 years ago, we were talking on the former podcast this used to be about influencers and how they would just like, oh my God, look at me, look at my life, you know, so naive. And you said, why is it naive? And I said, because psychopaths are standing in line to ruin your life.
Right.
Which they were.
They were.
In my case.
Yeah.
And then you laughed very hard, indicating that doesn't happen to most people, which is a shame.
I think everybody should have a line of psychopaths after them to get hardened.
Or to become humble.
Or be humble.
Yeah.
Humble, hardened, whatever you want,
Yeah.
right? Like it's some life lesson. I think the government should be involved here.
Yes.
In having a humbler program.
Humbler division.
Division, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Department of Humbleness.
Yeah.
Right? Of where like, okay, you're 18. Now we assign 10 psychopaths to follow you around for a while to like make you harden or humble. Like, have you experienced anything bad in your life? Well, when I turned 18, as we all do, I had to choose between going to the military or having the 10 psychopaths following me around.
Yeah.
Right?
I either had to go to the military or the humbler division of
the humbler division. I chose I didn't know too much about it. So I went into the humble division department.
Yeah.
And like, I didn't feel anything was wrong, but like after a week, it turned really weird. Yeah. It became just my worst nightmare for a year.
Yeah.
And I went to my dad screaming, my dad, the psychopaths are outside my window. Hey, we all have to do that when we are 18, you know? Either the military or the psychopath who want to kill you.
Right. And I mean, the cohesive glue that holds society together is unhinged street justice from violent psychopaths.
I think so too.
I think everyone would agree. So if you took the most violent criminals when they're arrested at sort of the end of their reign and they're full of Rohypnol and steroids and cocaine and like, oh, fine, I killed those people, I have all this money, like they're finally caught.
Right.
Then you say, hey, do you want jail or do you want to be a humbler for the government? And then
there's a choice. There's a path back for you.
That's right.
Yes. Redemption. Give you a government paycheck. You know, like, okay, here's your average pay for a government worker.
Yeah.
Follow this girl or boy or, you know, they're 18, man or woman.
Yeah.
And
the people who need the humbling.
Yeah, they need to be humbled.
Yeah.
And it's more like, they were raised in like a rich area, right? So they haven't had any problems. You are assigned to ruin their life for a year, right? Because that's the only way these people will learn.
Yeah.
But again, lower on the social economic scorecard, like maybe less psychopaths. It depends on your situation. It's a socioeconomic...
we tailor your psychopath for your needs.
We tailor your psychopath. Call for a free trial.
Consultation.
Yeah.
So I think also like if you took a major television network too, right? And remember the American Gladiators?
I do.
Well, it would be kind of like that, but instead of like American Gladiators, it would be like humblers, like government humblers.
Yeah.
And then you would find people online, as an example, who are like writing terribly mean things, like a 16-year-old who's been in his mom's basement his whole life and doesn't know what a consequence is. And then you bring the pain. That's a better name for the show, actually. Bring the pain.
Bring the pain.
And then you see how these children are reformed from the impending threat of violence, from raging psychopaths. through the reformation program of the government, right? So it's a beautiful cycle. It's symbiosis.
Who's that outside? Oh, that's my government-issued psychopath.
Exactly.
Oh, how long is he going to be here?
Exactly.
I mean, it's 6 months now, so
Right.
I have like a 6 months left. Yeah,
And
6 months.
And so you take a cocky, arrogant, smug piece of shit little 17-year-old, like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, they're in a psychiatric ward, in a straitjacket, rocking back and forth, tremors and all, you know? And then you go like, hey, the system works. And so, look, this is an anti-smugness program.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So what I'm learning from you now, because you're teaching, you're a teacher. Basically, you're a teacher, right?
Basically.
So you're saying that external forces will humble and harden a person to be better as a human being.
No, I would say external forces will turn, right, the rock into the diamond.
Right.
Right? And so you
Hence
take this
the diamond theory.
Take this terrible, rough, like shitty, useless clump of something and
Yeah.
you turn it into a De Beers,
Yeah.
wedding ring
Right.
through the forces of a drug-addled psychopath who's now who used to use his forces for evil, but now he's using them for good.
Yeah, hunting young 18-year-olds who's starting their lives with a government paycheck. Right.
We don't even need the military anymore. We just need the humble.
I mean, who's fighting nations when you have civil war?
Yes, no, but it's all supervised. That's the difference. There's a system here.
Right.
And it produces all these humble people who know that the impending threat of violence is forever looming.
Right.
And then you're a good person.
I agree.
Hello, may I get that door for you? Yes, no, please, step ahead of me in line. And it's like I disagree with this social media post. However, I respect you posting it.
Right.
That's the world I want to live in.
I agree.
And yeah, you get there through like recruiting from the mafia.
Yeah, like gangsters.
Yeah. And
Basically.
and here's the best part about them, right? We live in kind of an illusion in terms of like, oh, we'll just reform these violent criminals.
Right.
You'll never change them. So just use all these character flaws for good.
Yeah, but I think we're onto something here.
How about this though? Just one more thing.
Right.
Bullying.
Bullying.
It's a big problem.
Right.
And now, what you'll see is that a lot of people will say like, "Oh yeah, but the bully had a difficult childhood. The bully is also the victim." All you need to do is unleash just a horde of debt collectors from the narcotics underworld onto these middle schools.
Right.
And they just go nuts on these bullies, just beat them unconscious. And secretly, everyone would just be applauding because nobody likes a bully and nobody knows what to do with them except these psychopaths. And so now you create symbiosis, this beautiful, the harmony of nature playing itself out, but in a schoolyard. And you wouldn't even need that many of them. You wouldn't even need that many cases of street justice. But now from then on out, if anyone misbehaves, and it's just like, don't make me, bring a humbler in here.
Because obviously, I don't know where narcissism comes from. Is that something you are are you born a narcissist, or is that something you just become? Like, or do you become a person who only thinks about yourself? Is that from nature, or is that something you're like learned? This learned behavior.
I don't know, but I know how to fix it.
Right. By getting your government-issued psychopath following you around for a year.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, but it's a great question, but I think that I just remember this. I'm 12 years old. My favorite action hero. Okay, this was 1995.
Right.
My favorite action hero is Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm watching every Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and I'm thinking, hey, I could do that. I could also beat up 8 guys down by the docks.
Right.
I could also save a woman out of a car and then, like, ninja kick like 6-7 people into submission. And then I went onto the street and I tested my theory. And 20 seconds later, just like no confidence whatsoever, completely destroyed, very much humbled, knew I couldn't fight, and I knew I should really watch my mouth because there are crazy people out there who will have no problem destroying your life with their fists.
But what is going to happen with us as a human being? Where are we going to end up with this non-pressure society that we live in? Because there are pressures on how to get money, how to get the woman, how to get the thing, but not pressure how to be humbled.
Yeah.
Where is this going to end? Where are we going to end up? Like in 200 years, who are we? If we freeze you down tomorrow, cryogenically, right? Yeah. Which I think we should, by the way.
Of course.
And then heat you up in like 200 years. Can you even relate to that society at all in the future? Because everything is moving so fast now, right?
Yeah.
We were fighting with swords for a long time, right? We were walking around without shoes for a really long time. Okay, we had horses dragging our asses around. We had castles built with stone. Right? We didn't have wood house. I mean, sure, there was a couple of crazy people building wood.
Yeah.
But now everybody's doing the same thing. But also they're doing the wood, they're doing the plastic, they're doing the stone, they're doing the concrete. They're doing we're evolving into all these different shapes and sizes. But also as a person, who we are, how we react. So my question to you is, with all this arrogance and smugness accumulating over the hundreds of years, who are we, and who are you gonna meet when we heat you up again?
It's interesting because we used to be a self-humbling society. You got up in the morning, you said, I'm going to the store to buy some eggs and bacon.
Yeah.
And then you would shoot 3 or 4 people on the way to the store.
Yeah. When is this exactly?
1800s?
1800s.
About the 1850s.
You went to the store to buy egg and bacon.
Yeah, it was the 1850s. It was very common.
Yeah.
It was very common.
How was it out there? I had to kill a couple people, but I got the bacon.
Yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
People were hitting each other over the head with baseball bats, like throwing rocks at each other, stealing each other's food and stealing each other's women. Like, it was all crazy. And everyone was like, whoa, there are crazy people out there. I better be crazy too. I don't have time to care which sushi restaurant I'm eating at so I can post it on social media.
Right.
And then that was a great thing. So anyway, when no one is humbling each other, we're no longer, screaming at each other, like beating each other down for resources, by the way. It's not like it's happening for no reason.
Well, maybe some of it was.
I want your turnips. You know what I mean? No, You're never getting my turnips.
Yeah.
That's what it was like.
Then you try to kill the turnip guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every day.
Yes.
You don't want to be a turnip guy. I mean, everyone's trying to get you. But all I'm saying is self-humbling. So when nobody humbles each other, what happens? Then you have influencers.
Right.
So influencers are the surefire sign that no one's trying to kill the turnip guy.
True.
And so this will just slide out into complete anarchy and chaos until finally the sweet, sweet day comes when there are no resources. and people need to start fighting each other again. And the self-humbling, right, is rejuvenated in the entire species. And now you're walking around, you got hand grenades on your chest. You know what I mean? Couple of guns. And it's like, I'm going to buy bread, you know?
Yeah. Are you at? Is this happening in the future now?
This is in the future, yeah.
So when they heat you up again, we cryogenically freeze you down.
Yeah.
We heat you up in 200 years. You wake up with hand grenades or a gun? With a gun?
That's the first thing they do is give me like one of those satchels that goes across the chest, filled with hand grenades, and then 2 guns, and then they go buy bread, you know?
Yeah.
And that's my initiation back into the self-humbling society.
Right.
So I think what we're experiencing now, historically, is just a lull in the self-humbling. Because it used to be, before social media, you know, you can't just go up to people and, you know, start insulting them. They'll beat you down.
Right.
So it was all it was all in perfect harmony. But now, because of social media, there is no harmony. So the influencers are ruining it for everyone's well-being. I also think that's why everyone's depressed, because they're not getting punched in the face enough.
I think that's true.
Yeah, it is.
But I think if you start doing MMA or jiu-jitsu or whatever it is, right? I think that's good. I think it's good to hurt yourself, because that's what we used to do.
Yeah.
Right? We are kind of... And we are animals, right? With suits and shoes, but we're basically animals.
Yeah.
We used to go out there and fight for our lives. That's what we used to do.
That's right.
It was the alpha male who won, right? And he had testosterone, and he had like women and children, and he was like defending his group, right?
That's right.
And something happened. We got logged online, and we've lost our way of life because it's just emotionally damaging each other.
That's right.
We're not giving like the bruises and stuff like that. Of course, that also happens. I've read some pie charts. Not every marriage is a happy marriage. Right. There is some black eyes out there.
The pie charts don't lie.
But here's the thing: like there are black eyes in the marriages.
Right.
But what did she say? I mean, nobody talks about that.
That's right.
Like there's always a pie chart.
Yeah.
Right. Like this many people are getting a bruiser. Right.
Yeah.
But it never says. But this is what they said when they got that bruise.
Right. So,
but that's what we used to do. That was the reaction we had. We were slapping people around, teaching them a lesson.
Because here's the deal.
Can I just say, I'm not for it, by the way. No, I'm just saying it used to be like that.
That's all.
And that we should be inspired.
But here's the thing. We don't condone violence.
We do not.
But we do condone the constantly looming threat of violence that keeps people in line.
That is true. I mean, what is...
Big difference.
What is to be learned by getting threatened?
Right? I mean,
you know,
for me, right, when I got all those death threats, I've never been so terrified in my entire life.
Right.
And my whole world fell apart. And I considered, like, how am I ever... Like, it was just everything I thought I was, everything I thought I knew about the world, like, every little microscopic amount of confidence I had evaporated. But I wish that gift for everyone.
Yes. They taught you a really valuable lesson.
They did.
And for free.
Because I don't go on the bus and scream at people I don't like.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. That's right. Not anymore, right?
Right.
Thanks to my humbling.
Right.
And so I wish this service upon all of mankind.
Right. But the reason I mentioned the narcissism, because I think we as a society become more narcissistic when we're not humbled.
That's right.
That's the problem, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And people are now, I know people, I'm not going to mention their names, but huge narcissists.
Yep.
The only thing they talk about is themselves. Mm-hmm. And who has the best ideas? Themselves. Who is right? Themselves. Like it's always like I know I've seen them. I've gotten off. You know, I've been on the dance floor with them.
Yeah.
There's a video of a guy who's giving an advice how to disarm a narcissist.
Wow.
I think we all should learn how to do it.
Nice.
Right?
Yeah.
So just give me a second here and see what he has to say. Okay, so he's muted. Just
to disarm any narcissist. And there were these very specific methods. The biggest method of all was to always think about what they are using to get out of you. So if I'm in an argument, is someone using fear, obligation, or guilt? And that acronym spells FOG. So am I going to get in trouble, or can I recognize when somebody is using fear, obligation, and guilt? And if someone is doing any of those things, I want to call it out in a non-confrontational way. So let's say you give me some line about, like, if you don't do this, I'm going to have to work 19 hours next week. So it's never about the hours, and it's guilt, right? Mm-hmm. I could say, Stephen, maybe you didn't mean to, but it sounded like you wanted me to feel guilty about me working next week. And I know that you're a good person. I don't think you meant it that way. So I will absolutely call out any fear, obligation, or guilt, always. But I'll call it out in a way that says, maybe you didn't mean this, but it sounded like this is what you were saying right here. And I always want to use that word where it's non-confrontational, and I want to give them an out. So in interrogation training, we always call this the golden bridge. In the art of war, they say, give your opponent a golden bridge on which they can retreat. So they can retreat across this golden bridge.
And trap them in a corner.
Yeah. So we give them an out that's beautiful. So maybe you didn't mean this. And I always want to think about, going back to that, what is the hidden, it was called the narcissist.
I do agree with some of it.
Right.
But not all of it.
I'm more for a very confrontational way, because if you had a humbler at your middle school,
right,
all this is unnecessary.
I agree.
Listen, here's what was interesting about the death threats I got. I think a lot of people in their lives will say stuff like, "Oh man, I know this guy. He's crazy." You know, it's a big difference between the local guy in the neighborhood who people call crazy and like El Chapo, the drug lord,
right,
kind of thing.
Different crazy.
Different crazy. And so these people who threatened me, they were like professional criminals, and they went after me as if I was like a kingpin who they were going to destroy.
Right.
And I was a guy with in drug withdrawal, and I was like a nervous wreck.
Right.
And they went after me as if like they were taking down Don Corleone.
Right.
Like, so how would a bunch of insane people trying to take down the Corleone family, how would they approach Don Corleone if he had a cell phone where he could get text and email and stuff like that? Like, what kind of stuff would they send to him? Mm-hmm. So these people were like trained in how to make like very tough people become afraid. And they unleashed it all on me. Just a normal person trying to do stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
And because I just wanted a couple of Xanax now and then, and I got entangled into all this craziness.
Right.
So all I'm saying is this. It's one thing to have like a strict teacher in school, okay? Or to have like, the local crazy man come and like threaten the children. But I'm talking like a full-on enforcer from the mafia threatening a fifth grader with torture almost if you keep bullying. And you only have to threaten one. And the bullying goes away because that sets a standard that like nobody wants this to happen. You're more afraid of this than anything. So you find other things to do, like ride a pony or, play baseball.
I know a guy who was bullied at school. And I don't know exactly how he kind of like told his parents. I remember he told me a short story. And I'm not blaming anyone here, but I'm just saying that people have different reactions. So one reaction was, he said, like, I'm bullied at school. And then his dad said, well, the ones who are bullying are just insecure people, right? And the bullying continued, right? But now you know that they're insecure. But it doesn't really help you in any way.
No.
My brother was, 16 or something. He went to this like dance, and he was bullied by some people. I think he even got beaten up or something. So my dad, which you can criticize for a lot of stuff, but one thing he did do, he said, okay, get in the car, bring the baseball bat.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they drove to that next town that dance club was in, and then like after school, like that guy was hanging out with some people, and then he went out of the car with a baseball bat, and everybody saw, oh, that's his dad, like the guy we beat up or whatever. And so my dad went over to them, and they were like, ran for their lives.
Wow.
And they stopped bullying.
That's right. See, solutions.
They stopped.
Did your dad do anything?
No, but he was like walking out of the car.
Yeah.
Walking towards them, and then like, fuck, and then they just like skedaddled.
Could they sense his willingness to do something?
Well, they weren't. Like, these are like 15, 16-year-old kids, right?
Would he have done something?
Listen, that guy, who knows?
Right.
But what he did do was that he showed that if you mess with this person, there are consequences.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And they learned that.
God, that's beautiful.
They never touched them again.
It's like poetry.
Right?
If I have children, I'm going to tell them that story as a good night story.
Yes.
Because then they can relax.
Because, again, the one guy who had the father who said they're just insecure.
Yeah.
That kid turned into a doctor. So, right? And my brother did not. so I don't know if that's any correlation there, right? Right. So like, yes, he's not a doctor. Right? Not at all. Like, I would say he's absolutely not a doctor.
As far away as you can come.
Yes, like he's more a patient. I would say patient.
Right.
Not a doctor, he's a patient.
God damn it.
So but the story, even though the outcome were different, the story has still value because you're putting some respect in there towards your son, your nephew, your whatever, your brother, whatever it is. Like, you're getting bullied. Okay, we'll show them. Right?
Because I mean, it would be really interesting to talk to like a psychologist about the permanent damage you and I are advocating for here. But I don't want to hear it because it sounds so good in my head.
Who needs the extra details?
Who needs science?
Who needs extra details?
When you've got a feeling.
When you have a good feeling about something.
No, that's the truth if I ever heard it.
So here's one thing that happened.
Yeah.
I'll give you another one.
I'm ready.
So that older brother got older, right? And then I was the young guy. I was 16. And I don't know what really happened there, but I was hanging out with some shady people. Not like shady, but like, they're like just like, stupid kids who were like doing small, like stealing stuff or whatever.
Yep.
And one day I went down to the garage to get my moped, and it was gone. And of course, I blamed my brothers. Like, where's my moped? What's gone? Like, I haven't taken it. It's just like, and then they hadn't, like, because they would have told me, I took it, whatever. But they hadn't. So somebody, didn't break in, but they opened the garage door and took my moped and stole it. And I didn't know who it was, who've done this, right? And then somebody like whispered in my ear, it's like, my moped's gone, and blah, blah, blah. And I was calling all different people. I don't know. And then somebody told me, I think it's him. And it's just a guy I used to hang out with, right? Who broke into these. What do you call these machines? Like the blinking machines that you put money on and you play, you win, like
arcade games.
Yeah, but like whatever, like money game plays. Pinball, whatever.
No, gambling machine. Like
Gambling machine, yeah.
Slot machines,
nice. Whatever. I don't think it's whatever it was.
Yeah,
it was used to break into those and like steal cash and stuff, right? But I never he would have steal from me, right? Because I know him, right? So he broke into our garage, stole my moped, and then I don't know where the information came from, but somebody like, it's him, he did it, and I told my brother, who then was threatened as a kid, right, and he had the same reaction towards this. Okay, let's go to his house, and then we went, but they weren't home. But then his dad and the kid who stole from me and his dad came driving, like. And then we stopped the car. And it's like, hey, have you taken his moped? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And then he said two conflicting things immediately. Like, I never heard about that, but I knew that he heard about it because somebody called him and asked him about it. So he's like, I never even heard about it. Right.
Right.
He was like doubling down. And then my brother opened the door of the car and tried to drag the kid out of the car in front of his dad.
Wow.
Right. And then his seatbelt was on, so he couldn't like get him out of the car. And then his dad like stepped on the throttle and then like took off.
Right.
I get a call 1.5 hours later, 2 hours, let's say.
Yeah.
Hey, and this kid that was, my brother tried to drag out of the car. He had a girlfriend, and she said to me, I think I saw your moped today. It was like parked by some gas station.
Wow.
Really? And I drove up to the gas station, and there it was.
Wow.
What a coinkydink, huh?
So these are just success stories, kind of just backing up our whole philosophy.
But I'm just saying that people say like street justice you should go to the police and report it.
Yeah.
That would be they would just throw it into the ocean.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
And then like, whatever, get rid of the evidence. But that they're not using the police here. This is going to be and if you try to drag a kid out of a car in front of his dad, you don't feel safe anymore, do you?
No.
Like, oh, they will invade us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and again,
your little illusion of safety
just burst.
Which justified your moped stealing, right? Burst that little bubble, didn't it?
But here's the thing.
All I'm saying is that kid wasn't smug anymore after that.
No, he really didn't steal from me anymore.
No.
Right?
And the smugness?
I think it went away. But in this podcast, we're not condoning that.
We're not.
This is a sad story.
Yes.
Right?
Everyone's a loser in this story.
Yes.
Except the moped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I did sell it at some point. But it's not important.
Yeah, that's right.
The important stuff here is that you shouldn't take the law into your own hands. But you should be allowed to ask questions to people you are suspicious of.
I think we can summarize it like this. Fear is the currency of the future.
Right.
And good societies are built on a healthy amount of fear. Not for the government, but for your neighbor.
Right.
You should be afraid of your neighbor.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
You should fear your neighbor.
Yeah.
I think that was in the Bible, but they took it out.
That's right. Typical.
You should fear the thing. So yeah. But again, you are the expert on this, and that's the reason I'm here today to ask you these questions. Because okay, so you are now a young kid listening to this podcast.
That's right.
Right? They are arrogant. Their mom and dad gives them everything they point at.
Right.
They've never heard the word no. That's a bad word. We don't say no in this house.
Right.
We say, interesting, right? Like they're kind of like the new age psychos.
Of course.
Like, my kid never hears the word no.
Yeah.
Right? It's only yes, or we need to talk about that. Like, yeah. They need to be humbled.
That's right.
Or else this is not going to turn well for them. This is not going to go well.
And look, it's not me saying that I know who needs to be humbled and who doesn't. The smugness of their face gives it away. Like a beacon.
Yeah.
Okay? Like a lighthouse.
Yeah, you can see
that attracts boats.
You can be lost at sea and then see the smugness like waving you in.
That's right.
Right?
This smugness is directing boats out of danger.
Right.
And so that kind of smugness, that needs to be taken down a peg. And so that's not my opinion. We can all agree on that.
Okay, so what's your advice to a kid now sitting in their mother's basement, listening to this podcast, who are smug, they have not heard no, They've not had any problems in their lives. They've only had yes, as I said. What would you recommend them now to do to then decrease the smugness value?
Wow, it's a great question. Here's the reality of it. I used to be a guy, I used to love the sun. Okay? Hey, spring's here, the sun's out, let's get a tan. Great. When you have dangerous people after you, you fear the sun because they'll see you. You crave the darkness. You want to just escape into the shadows. So here's how you know if you need some serious humbling. If you're a young person, okay, and the sun starts coming out during the spring, and you walk around going, oh my God, it's so nice that the sun in here. That's when you know you're a smug person who needs to be taken down a peg. You should crave the darkness, fear the light. Like a vampire.
Or Batman.
Or Batman. So all I'm saying is this. In order to reverse that around so that you can be a person who's hiding in the shadows, forever weary of people around you, a healthy amount of paranoia, I say you take all your terrible ideas and you march into the world and you test them all.
I've never heard healthy amount of paranoia. I've never heard that before.
Well, you've been hanging out in the wrong circles. This is the newest science.
I know.
So you march into the world and you test all your terrible, terrible ideas. And just trust me, if you like the sun, they're all terrible. So just go out there and just insist that your way is the way to go and march out there with arrogance and confidence. And I have a lot of ideas. And the self-correcting mechanisms of the universe will naturally whittle you down into a person hiding in the shadows, which is where you want to be.
Exactly. But so let me ask you a question. What are the treatments of this humble deficient person, right? What is the treatment of this patient?
Right.
What is it? What is the exact treatment?
Well, here's the deal. If the government can assign you a humbler, like a real, like narcissistic psychopath, drug addict, steroid person who can threaten you and give you prolonged fear to the extent to which, because remember this, like panic lingers. No, fear. Yeah, whatever. Fear lingers is all I'm saying.
Right.
So today, to this day, all of my problems have gone away, but the fear is still in me, which gives me a healthy amount of paranoia, like I said. Now, sorry, what was the question again?
The question is, okay, so you are humble deficient.
Yeah, you are.
What is the treatment exactly?
Right. So basically, here's what I see as the problem. A lot of people will say stuff like this, like, I'm an artist. I go, really great. Where are your paintings? I just post stuff on Instagram. All right. Now, that's a very half-ass way of doing something. If you rented the Louvre, okay, and you put up all your shitty paintings there and invited tons of critics and people said, worst artist in history, that will give you the pain. That will give you the pushback. That will give you the reality check you so sorely need as a shitty, pathetic person. But most people just sit there sort of isolating themselves from pain, going like, I have a lot of ideas. I might just post like a quote. What the fuck? Rent like fucking Wrigley Stadium. Okay? Invite in 40,000 people and do your stupid dance moves there so people can throw garbage at you and let you know how terrible you are, and that will regulate yourself. Don't, like, put it this way, chase your dreams. That's how you fucking, okay? You have to initiate the self-regulating mechanisms of the universe, and you do that by just attacking life. Don't hide away like a pathetic person behind your stupid Instagram account. Go balls to the wall. Get a credit card, okay? Take out a loan of $2 million.
Yeah, get a gun. Be somebody.
But you get my drift.
So this is your treatment plan.
That's right.
For a humble deficient person.
That's right.
Is to rent Wrigley Stadium and make people throw trash at them.
that'll just naturally happen when they start doing their stupid dance moves.
But this is a plan that costs millions of dollars.
Yeah, but get a credit card, get some debt, because then you'll get the debt collectors after you. You don't even need a government humbler.
Right, because it's the same thing, but it's privatized.
Look, all I'm saying is this. If you just go out there and you attack life, you will be so outrageously humbled. But if you just hide away in a basement with your stupid fucking ideas, with nothing challenging and whittling away at your pathetic worldview, then you're never going to be somebody who fears for their life on a regular basis.
Right, which is the goal.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Hey, better that than narcissism.
100%.
Yeah.
But okay, so let me ask you another question.
Right.
Okay, same kid, like 16 years old, lives in their parents' house. They, even though if they had like a drug problem or built up like a huge debt or whatever, but they're still rich. The parents can buy them out of the problem. They can, there's enough money here to keep them all fat and giggly, right? So what do you do towards that kind of person that even though they have like a huge debt and everything, it's still not a problem, right? So how do you then humble that person?
Well, that's tougher.
Right.
But, if you want to seek some humbling, go see a psychiatrist. Get yourself on a couple of psych meds and try that out for size.
Yeah, exactly.
If you think that you're somebody, okay, nothing will whittle your confidence or put it this way, nothing will nuke your confidence into oblivion like antidepressant withdrawal.
Okay, so what you're saying is that if a person who's really rich, young, and never heard the word no, were to get humbled, he should start on psycho meds.
Hey, listen, can you Google something?
Yeah.
Google Duke of Sandwich antidepressant withdrawal. Here's a guy with like 10 billion pounds who lost a decade of his life to antidepressants.
Duke of Sandwich.
Antidepressant withdrawal. Depressant withdrawal. All I'm saying... I actually...
Earl of Sandwich.
Oh, yeah, Earl of Sandwich.
Speaks on prescription drug harms.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically that's too long of an article.
But you get the idea. He's an Earl, and he couldn't escape the antidepressant pain.
Right. He's an Earl.
He's an Earl.
So, but if... Okay, so what you're saying is that even though a person is not depressed, he should start on it to then just get the feeling of ruining their life.
Well, it's like... If you're an earl, if you're a duke, if you're a king, if you're a prince, if you're a sultan, it's very hard to get that pain you need to take away your smugness, to fix, your problem. But a psychiatric drug will do it 100% of the time.
When does antidepressant withdrawals peak? The symptoms typically last 1 to 3 weeks and will typically peak within the first week. Symptoms can be relieved within 24 hours by restarting the antidepressant medication.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're rich, you should believe that and just start it because it's obviously not a problem. That is the biggest crock of shit in the history of the world.
This is the source is from American Addiction Centers.
That's
I
right.
wonder who they are funded by.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not saying anything. I'm just wondering.
All I'm saying is those are very smug people they're funded by.
Smug people.
Smugness is not a good quality.
Okay, so I just have to Google. I actually have to just Google who funds the American. Give me a second here, sir.
Yeah, while you're Googling that, I should also say that, having been through 5.5 years of psychiatric drug withdrawal and been through addiction, gone to rehab, and had people after me, and just having experienced all these things that has removed my smugness, it's a very lonely feeling. And it's got nothing to do with not having people around me. It's just that when you've been destroyed by life, it's a very lonely feeling because most people are walking around going, I've got this figured out. And you're just like, God damn it.
It's so funny. Who started the American Addiction Centers? It's a guy, 2004, Michael Cartwright, then CEO. And in 2014, the company went from privately held to public, becoming the first publicly traded addiction treatment provider in the US. Wow. It's so funny with these people. It's always the same thing. Like, we're trying to help you, but now we're traded publicly. We need customers, right? Yeah. And it's so funny how it's always I mean, it's like prisons. Prisons, if they were run by the state, you would then try to get less prisoners because it's so expensive to have prisoners, right? You would try to then prevent having prisoners. Yep. But if it's privatized, then you would lobby for, let's say, 3 strikes you're out law, and if you then do something bad, you are 3 strikes you're out, you're in jail indefinitely, and then who makes money? Well, the people who owns the facilities.
Oh yeah.
Right. So it's just.
I think prison is another way to reduce your smugness. By the way.
Right.
You know. So go commit that crime. Go be that person your impulse is telling you to be. Yeah. But again, I think the whole problem is that people isolate themselves in a basement playing video games.
Okay, I got news for you. American Addiction Centers files for bankruptcy in 2020.
Wow.
Right. In 20th of June, 2020, Wall Street Journal says it. And what a great time to close down the drug facilities, the drug treatment centers, when people are highest on drugs. This is like the peak of the pandemic. Summer, June 2020. This was when the people were going crazy and drinking, doing drugs. You're not allowed to work. You have to be at home. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to, get high, I guess. Yeah. But you can't go and get treatment because it files for bankruptcy. Chapter 11.
Yeah.
Wow, what a story.
Yeah.
What a story. But okay, but what you're saying is that when people are rich and have heard the word yes all their life, and they have no problems basically because they're a trust fund kid, money's in the bank, no worries. If I lose the money, there will be another a truck of loads of money coming in like 2 months, right. Every quarter, right? Yeah. Okay. So your advice is to start the antidepressant? Cymbalta, okay.
Cymbalta and maybe some Paxil, throw in some Cyprexa and a couple of mood stabilizers, ideally a gabapentinoid, and just take that combo and really ride it out. Cruise, as I like to call it.
If I can shift gears a little bit here and change it from medicine to something else, right. What else could be a way of humbling a trust fund kid who needs humbling?
Oh, cocaine and heroin. A speedball, if you like.
A speedball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Hitler used during the Blitzkriegs.
Yeah. And
so you know it works.
You know it works.
Yeah.
But the hangover is shooting yourself in a bunker?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
But if you're lucky, you wake up at a rehab.
Do you think he got humbled at the end? He kind of did, didn't he? When he went into that room for the last time? And he was hearing the shakes of the bombs exploding outside.
It was his
trembling.
It was his wedding day, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Happy wedding. Happy whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, yeah, I guess humbled. I wouldn't say humbled because it's all about your frame of reference. If I'm out there beating people up,
right?
Because my story is that everyone's mean to me or everyone's looking at me funny, right? I mean, to the rest of the world, I'm a psychopath doing blind violence to people. Right. And when I get arrested in my head as that crazy person, right. I tell myself man, I knew they were looking at me. They were against me the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's what people do is they just create a story to fit their version of things. And so if your mind tells you that you've never really done anything bad, it's just other people have been mean to you, that's how you know. You need some smugness adjustment.
Smugness adjustment.
Smugness Adjustment Bureau. That would be the name of it.
Smugness Adjustment Bureau.
That's right.
What a great name.
Isn't it though?
I think that's a great name.
And I should run it.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, what a better man than you.
Smugness Adjustment Bureau.
Because you don't sound better at all.
Not even close.
And that's why you should run it.
That's right. That's right. People free from resentment need to run that bureau.
That is true.
Smugness Adjustment Bureau. Founded 2025. Brought to you by the Dex Cult.
So, when it comes to smugness, I did see some reels on the Instagram. I'm pretty sure I saved them, but I don't think I did, because it was like some people I thought like this would really make your blood boil, but I didn't. I don't know where I. But anyway, it was people who were like, I mean, again, there's a lot of reels out there now about people. When you look at all these beautiful women on beaches and like and people coming with like horrible quotes and just like how do we humble these influencers, basically? Like these people who are online, who are like, okay, they have a couple of 100,000 followers and they do sponsorship and that's how they finance their situation. Like what is the best way to humble them? Like, except like, okay, like taking their money away and their followers away, but they're not going away. People are hate watching it. People are, like how do we fix that? How do we fix Instagram and they're like its polluted tone?
Yeah.
How do we do it?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but what's funny is that a lot of those people simply can't be helped, right? In the sense that certain people will just always believe that they're the victim. But other than that, I still think these assassin ex-gang members should go home to people who post things that are too arrogant.
I'll give you a taste here, okay? This is like a hot.
We can just use AI to measure the smugness.
Right. Here's like a hot person on Instagram, and like this is what it's.
And most important, I will let you race with my wheelchair. 3 things you get if you're my boyfriend. First, I will let you hit all my holes. Oh. Second, I will let you use this too as a stress ball. And third, and most important...
Yeah, that's a woman in a wheelchair.
For so many years, I thought that there was something wrong.
That was a woman who... Yeah, that's an OnlyFans woman in a wheelchair.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the deal there?
No, she's... This is a wheel... She's a OnlyFans woman in a wheelchair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Why is it always? Well,
you wouldn't be able to open your camera roll in front of people. You know what I mean. I may be in a wheelchair, but if you were with me, you wouldn't be able to open your camera roll in front of people. You know.
Yeah. Okay. But this is the world we live in now.
Right.
These are the people who are running the show.
That's true. They are in charge.
I think they are.
No, but they are.
I think they are. They are.
It's nothing to think about. They are.
They are.
I don't understand why men don't want to date Elizabeth girl. We are only advantages. First, we are always on the perfect high for. Also, we are 100% loyal, and we will always let you use our back home.
Oh my
I don't
God.
understand why men don't want to date.
Okay, this is the world we live in.
That is intense. You know, she is probably running for
governor.
Yeah, like or like,
and will win.
Yeah, but like she's going to be managing a city pretty soon.
I'm pretty sure she will, or she's going to be appointed to a cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's everywhere. Here's one.
I know it's honestly such a fun time.
It is.
Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with your internet. Okay, but the point is, the world is getting polluted, and I think the narcissism is taking over because nobody's out there fighting them.
Yeah,
that's the problem, and I think you're a hero in the world.
Thank you.
Because you're actually trying to fight back.
I am. Hey, at least I'm suggesting solutions.
You are.
That's
because
right.
A lot of people, well, it is what it is, and we have to adapt to the narcissism, to the people. We have to adapt to the what is it called? The arrogance and smugness. Like they deserve. Hey, that person had no problems in their lives, and that's good. Like that's where we are now. That's good. They survived life for a while without any problems. That's how you should live.
Safe space.
Safe space. Micro. Hey, that's my. It's not even. The people don't react to aggression. Like that we're way beyond that. We react to microaggressions because you're very aggressive, right? That's where you cut in to the confrontational kind of discussion. Like, why are you so aggressive?
Yeah.
But now it's more like, hey, I'm sensing microaggressions because you haven't had your feet is so soft. They have never had any problems. You've been carried around. You don't even have bones anymore, right? Because you just have skin for legs because you've just been carried around. You never use them. You don't have, and it's like the feet is soft. You can use it as a cushion, right?
Yeah.
And then, of course, microaggressions. Micro hostile behavior. It's like, hey, I don't like your tone. You know, like you're seeing problems everywhere because you're so soft.
Yeah, that's right.
Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And my question to you, because you are a guy who can see basically into the future.
That's right. Basically.
People have told me this.
Basically.
Where are we gonna end up?
I mean, look, if we don't create the Smugness Adjustment Bureau, I think we're heading toward war because smugness always creates war.
Right.
And nothing adjusts the smugness like an invasion.
That is true.
So when people have nothing to eat and they're shivering in a pool of their own tears, that's when great things happen.
So right.
And you can hear the narcissism being adjusted. You can hear the screams of smugness dying.
I think the smugness is those drops of water falling out of your eyes.
And I also think that people are desperately not only trying to get food, but they're trying to get bottles of synthetic testosterone to inject into their ass.
Here we go again.
So that they can, so that they can smugness adjust each other.
I think smugness is, it turns into a salty liquid on the floor.
Yeah.
Pouring out of your eyes.
And if you inject someone else's smugness, it's more potent than testosterone.
So true. Goodbye, everybody.